The B-1 battle droid is the most recognizable droid in the Separatist army. With their skeletal, humanoid appearance, their design mirrors the insect-like form of their creators, the Geonosians. They first appeared in The Phantom Menace during the Naboo invasion and were the standard infantry unit in the Confederacy of Independent Systems, or CIS for short. They were often seen as cannon fodder due to their low intelligence and poor combat skills. However, their true strength came from the fact that they were produced in massive numbers, overwhelming enemy forces with sheer volume. During the Clone Wars, B-1 battle droids are featured in almost every battle. However, they're mostly shown to be extremely clumsy and usually fail to do even the simplest tasks, never mind taking down any Jedi. The B-1 is also very flexible, and was used in a whole bunch of different roles in the Separatist army. There were the commanders with yellow markings taking on leadership roles, commanding the troops with incredible fury, high-fiving their droid teammates for their good shots. Next, the security droids that fight to the last man defending important locations like prisons, etc. Am I exaggerating a bit how useful they actually are? Yes, because otherwise they wouldn't make for good villains, right? But to get you on a different topic, have you heard about the pilot droid? Recognizable by the blue markings on his head, and his specialty is, well, piloting. Yes, you guessed it. Some things just aren't that complicated. There are also rocket droids who have a jetpack to use in space, and firefighter droids. But perhaps there was a reason that they were more battle droids and not firefighter droids. Anyways, finally, there are also the heavy battle droids, who usually carried rotary blasters. However, after seeing how they handle a fire extinguisher, I wouldn't really trust them to handle a minigun of all things. Okay, this was way too jokey, I'll tone it down a bit now. The last two variants of the B-1 were grapple droids, who were designed to close combat and are equipped with claws, and repeater blaster droids, who carried heavier weapons. Despite their failings in combat, B-1s have become iconic figures in Star Wars lore, serving as the primary force of the Separatist army. In their defense though, the reason B-1 battle droids are so chatty and often seem dim-witted is actually due to cost-cutting measures taken during their mass production. Initially, in The Phantom Menace, they had a more serious tone and were designed to be efficient, but over time, the Separatists had to produce massive numbers of them. To save money, they used cheaper CPUs, which affected their intelligence and combat efficiency. This reduced processing power made them less effective, especially against Jedi, and led to their more comical and talkative nature in later films and the Clone Wars series. George Lucas himself explained this shift as part of the narrative evolution, reflecting the growing wear and tear of the war on both sides. The B-2 Super Battle Droid was the result of the Separatist desire to improve on the original B-1 model. Imagine taking the spindly B-1, sending it to the gym, and then wrapping it in armor plating. That's essentially what they did. The B-2 first marched onto the battlefield in Attack of the Clones, and it became clear from the start that this droid wasn't here to mess around. Unlike the B-1s, which rely on handheld weapons, the B-2 has integrated wrist blasters, allowing for faster, more efficient firepower without the awkward scramble to grab a blaster. Where the B-1s needed constant commands from a central control ship, the B-2 could operate independently, making them far more adaptable in combat. This shift from mindless drone to a semi-autonomous soldier meant they could execute complex battle strategies with far less oversight. In essence, they were smarter, tougher, and much more dangerous than their predecessors. They are often seen as part of the main force of the CIS army, deployed in a dozen alongside B-1 droids. Also, for their bulk, they are surprisingly fast and agile, as one of the episodes of Mandalorian showed. Maybe I also just got the impression that they were slow, as I grew up watching the Clone Wars series, and there they basically looked like a balloon with legs and guns compared to the more muscular build of the live-action versions. Of course, the Separatists were never satisfied with just one version of anything. They quickly set about creating variations of the B-2 to specialize it further. Some of these droids came equipped with shoulder-mounted rocket launchers. And then there was the B-2 variant designed to take the flight into space. Rocket droids that came strapped with jetpacks, and they looked even sillier in the Clone Wars because of their round shape. But yeah, these flying versions of the B-2 were used to great effect during space engagements, latching onto ships and shooting pilots out of their seats. Another variant of the B-2 was designed for hand-to-hand combat. These grapple droids were outfitted with larger, reinforced arms for close-quarters brawling. Whether smashing through barricades or tossing clone troopers like ragdolls, they proved that sometimes brute force could be just as effective as laser fire. One of the more terrifying developments was a B2 model that was reinforced with cortosis, a material capable of absorbing so much energy that it even resisted lightsabers, even shorting them out for brief periods upon contact. For a Jedi, this was a game changer. Lightsabers, the weapon they relied on to carve through droids with ease, were suddenly ineffective. Luckily though, Anakin managed to destroy the only factory producing these cortosis armored droids before they could become widespread. A droid that looks like a prototype between the B1 and B2, armed with dual repeating blaster cannons. They could track an opponent with motion, heat, energy, and sonic detectors, but move quite slow, so it's kinda counterintuitive to have a tracker that moves at 3 miles an hour. They didn't really appear aside from in a few games and aren't widely used. The BX series commando droids are what happens when someone in the Separatist army finally said, hey, maybe we should make some droids that are actually good at fighting. And boy did they deliver. First showing up in the Clone Wars episode Rookies, these lean, mean fighting machines made quite the entrance, dispatching the entire clone force on the base and taking over the command center. The BX droids were often equipped with vibro swords that they could carry on their back, and a standard blaster. They could also change their voices and in general are more individual and smarter than the B1 and B2 droids. But their real strength? Parkour. Yes, you heard that right. That's what I call it. These droids flip, jump, and roll their way around the battlefield like they're auditioning for a space circus. But it does make them very hard to hit, and even if they're hit, they can usually withstand some blaster fire. They even still functioned when half their torso was cut through. Also, for a Jedi, they were very tricky to fight against as they could shoot while jumping around and dodge lightsaber strikes, then quickly attack with their vibro swords. They were also excellent at hand-to-hand combat, usually dispatching clones with ease. Different variants included commando captains, rocking those sweet white markings, making them look like Sioux Indians going to war. However, despite their lethality, they weren't deployed to the same extent as the B1 and B2 due to their high cost, often serving more as bodyguards or assisting on special strike teams. But let it be noted that they were most likely one of the deadliest droids the Seppies used. The Droideka, or as many Republic soldiers and Jedi have come to call them, those damn rolling things, first appeared in the Phantom Menace against Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and from the moment they unrolled themselves, they made a lasting impression. With their twin blaster cannons and impenetrable energy shields, Droidekas quickly became one of the Separatist most feared battle droids. Unlike the B1s, which were easily taken down with a well-placed shot, Droidekas could withstand almost any form of attack thanks to their energy shields that could repel anything short of a heavy artillery strike. This made them a particular headache for Jedi, who found their lightsabers bouncing off the shield while Droidekas unloaded a barrage of blaster fire. Their ability to roll into battle also set them apart. In seconds, they could transform from stationary cannons into speeding ball-like blurs, capable of quickly repositioning or flanking enemy forces. Their high mobility, combined with their powerful shields and weaponry, made them a versatile and deadly unit on the battlefield. But the original Droideka design was just the beginning. The Separatists, always looking for an edge, developed several variants to enhance their effectiveness in different combat scenarios. The Droideka Mark II added even more versatility, incorporating ion cannons that could disable vehicles and broaden the range of targets they could engage. Among these variants was the Droideka Sharpshooter, a specialized version designed for precision long-range attacks. Unlike the traditional Droideka, which relied on its blasters to overwhelm enemies up close, the Sharpshooter was equipped with a precision rifle, making it the sniper of the droid family. It sacrificed the traditional energy shield in favor of increased accuracy, allowing it to hit targets at extreme distances. While this made it more vulnerable than its shielded counterparts, its ability to strike with pinpoint accuracy from afar made it a formidable threat, especially against high-value targets or during covert operations. Finally, the Ultra Droideka took the concept of the destroyer droid to its extreme, enhancing its firepower to such an extent that it couldn't even run its shields and weapons simultaneously. These massive units were more akin to mobile artillery, but their reliance on other droids for protection while firing made them somewhat cumbersome in battle. The D1 series aerial battle droids, also known as D-Wing droids, were experimental security droids developed by the Techno-Union. They were deployed as security units at the Techno-Union facility on Skeko Minor. They featured fold-out wings for flight and built-in blasters. Despite their distinct head design, their programming was similar to the standard B1 battle droid, making them an airborne variation of the B-series droid line. The DS-D1 Dwarf Spider Droid may have been small by comparison to other war machines, but don't let the dwarf label fool you. These little nightmares packed a serious punch. The DS-D1 was designed for heavy support roles. Its main weapon was a massive nose-mounted laser cannon, capable of both rapid fire and concentrated energy blasts. Whether you need to mow down groups of infantry or punch a hole in an armored position, the Dwarf Spider Droid could handle it. What made these droids even more dangerous was their agility. Equipped with 4 legs, they could climb over virtually any terrain, scaling walls and navigating rough ground with ease. This mobility made them ideal for assaulting fortified positions, as they could approach from angles most vehicles couldn't. Their small size also meant they were harder to hit, and their thick armor allowed them to take a beating before going down. The upgraded version, the ADSD Advanced Dwarf Spider Droid, took everything that made the original effective and ramped it up a notch. It featured upgraded weaponry, including a more powerful blaster cannon and fire-linked missile launchers. It also had enhanced leg armor for additional protection and could operate in total darkness. Though available commercially before the Clone Wars, the ADSD was not mass-produced until after the droid army's mobilization due to high cost. It was also used in holographic training simulations for clone troopers on Kamino. The LM-432 Muckraker Crab Droid was a versatile walker droid used by the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. Manufactured by the Techno-Union, the Crab Droid came in various sizes, with smaller 4-legged and larger 6-legged models. Designed for swampy or uneven terrain, its armored limbs allowed it to climb and scale steep inclines, aided by gripping prongs and teeth at the limb joints. Equipped with 2 belly-mounted blaster cannons, the Crab Droid could engage long-range targets, while its powerful forelegs could punch through vehicle armor. However, the droid had blind spots, as a now famous clone at the Battle of Utapau demonstrated by jumping on its head and shooting its central processor from above. The LR-57 Combat Retail Droid is proof that the Separatists have a sense of humor when it comes to naming things. I mean, retail droid? Was it originally designed to be really aggressive at selling things? Jokes aside, it was a formidable sentinel used by the Separatists during the Clone Wars. These droids were equipped with 4 blaster cannons and could lie dormant for long periods, buried underground and waiting to ambush unsuspecting Republic forces. Their sensitive dorsal antennae allowed them to detect movement or signals, triggering their surprise attacks when the moment was right. During the Battle of Christophsis, they were deployed as guards for the energy shield projector. Although they outnumbered Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka, their slow reactions made them easy prey. Skywalker swiftly destroyed half, while Ahsoka brought down a wall on the rest. The AQ series battle droids, commonly known as Aqua Droids, were amphibious droids designed by Howard Shaw Engineering and the Techno-Union for underwater combat. Standing at 2.83 meters tall, these droids featured a bulky, rigid physique, retractable heads for streamlined swimming, and feet that could switch to propellers for efficient movement in water. Their blue color matched aquatic environments, making them ideal for sieges on planets like Kamino and Mon Cala during the Clone Wars. Aqua droids were heavily armed with a retractable laser cannon on their right wrist and could cause significant damage to enemy vehicles. Underwater, they were agile and swift, but on land they moved slowly, similar to B-2 battle droids, which made them vulnerable to sniper attacks. During the attack on Kamino, these underwater warriors first made a splash, couldn't resist, and proved that they weren't just a fish out of water. Okay, last water pun, I promise. They assembled assault crafts underwater to lay siege on Tipoca City, showing that they had different use cases besides just shooting. The IG series droids were among the most advanced models utilized by the Separatists, particularly serving as elite combat units and bodyguards. These droids quickly became fan favorites due to their lethal precision and remarkable resilience, prominently featured throughout the Clone Wars and other media. Among the most notable was the IG-100 Magna Guard. General Grievous's personal bodyguard, equipped with electro-staffs, these droids could effectively block lightsaber strikes, making them formidable adversaries in combat. A main way they fought is by using General Grievous's favorite spinning technique, completely confusing and imitating Jedis who faced them. The Magna Guards made their first appearance in Revenge of the Sith and played a significant role in the Clone Wars animated series. They showcased their tenacity by engaging Anakin and Obi-Wan on board the Invisible Hand and proving their ability to continue fighting even after sustaining severe damage, such as losing limbs or even their head. Some of Grievous's Magna Guards also featured torn capes to make them look more like the Kaleesh people, whom General Grievous was part of. Next, a droid designed to be an improved variant of standard battle droids. IG-86s were integral to the Intergalactic Banking Clan's collections and security division. Their advanced features made them popular not only among the Banking Clan, but also with criminal organizations, including gangsters like Zero the Hutt. Throughout the Clone Wars, these droids saw extensive action, being utilized by both the Confederacy of Independent Systems and various third-party factions. In the infamous Battle of Moonalinst, IG Lancer droids made their mark by riding swoop bikes and wielding energy lances. Led by the bounty hunter Dirge in the 2003 Clone Wars micro-series, they executed high-speed cavalry charges, wreaking havoc on Republic forces and further cementing the IG series droids' reputation as formidable and lethal combatants throughout the Clone Wars. Finally, another model used by the CIS is the IG-110 lightsaber droid. It was developed specifically to counter the Jedi threat. These droids wielded dual red lightsabers and were programmed with combat techniques based on extensive data of Jedi fighting styles. Although they haven't yet made a significant appearance in major canon narratives, they are the first lightsaber-wielding droids we've seen. The T-Series Military Strategic Analysis and Tactics Droid, commonly referred to as the T-Series Tactical Droid or T-1, was manufactured by Bactoid Combat Automata for the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. These droids played a crucial role in coordinating military operations, serving as advisors and generals to their superiors. They were deployed in significant battles across the galaxy and proved to be vital in organizing the droid forces. Known for their ruthlessness and intelligence, T-1s preferred to command from the rear rather than the front lines, displaying a higher degree of independence than B-1 series battle droids. While loyal to the Separatist cause, they've been seen to prioritize their survival, sometimes abandoning their superiors in dire situations. As the Clone Wars progressed, the more advanced ST-series droids were introduced. The ST-Series Military Strategic Analysis and Tactics Droid, commonly known as Super Tactical Droids, were advanced models developed by Bactoid Combat Automata as an enhanced version of the T-Series Tactical Droids. They addressed the T-Series limitations by featuring superior strategic processing and intelligence, enabling them to analyze battlefield conditions and predict responses from organic commanders, which the T-1 series often failed to do. Super Tactical Droids served as effective battlefield commanders, often filling the roles of commanders or generals, with notable examples including Generals Kalani and Linwodo, the latter serving directly under Count Dooku. While Super Tactical Droids became the preferred choice for key operations, T-Series models continued to be used for non-essential missions, commanding smaller fleet groups. Taller than their predecessors by a centimeter, ST-Series droids boasted improved armor plating, enhanced heat ventilation, and additional features like magnetomic grip panels that allowed them to operate organic equipment. These droids were granted a degree of individuality within the Separatist military, enabling them to customize their appearance with distinct color schemes. Some units even developed personalities, with droids like Kalani opting to create names for themselves rather than responding to their identification numbers, reflecting a growing sense of autonomy among these advanced combat units. Small but deadly, buzz droids first appeared in Revenge of the Sith, proving that even tiny droids could wreak havoc. They were easily deployed in a missile, launching a dozen of them at enemy ships. These little pests were designed to sabotage ships in mid-flight, dismantling crucial systems while pilots were still in the cockpit. Their appearance turned space battles into high-stakes repair jobs as Republic pilots scrambled to keep their ships intact. Also, they gave me one of the worst symptoms of trypophobia during the Clone Wars. This looks so awful. Get this pic out of here, please. The Scorpionek Annihilator droids, produced by the Colicoid Creation Nest, were formidable battle droids comparable to Droidekas, but significantly larger and more powerful. Standing at 3.5 meters tall and walking on 4 sharp legs, these droids were equipped with energy and particle shields far superior to those of Droidekas. Even without shields, Annihilator droids were difficult to take down due to their extremely strong armor and agile design. Their weaponry surpassed that of Droidekas as well. Instead of dual blaster cannons, the Annihilators were armed with 2 dual laser cannons that could fire rapidly and penetrate almost any armor or shield. A single Annihilator could destroy dozens of ATTEs, making them a nightmare for Republic commanders. However, this immense firepower came at a cost. The Annihilators were so expensive that fewer than 100 were produced, most of which were stationed at Kala 4, where they were manufactured. 2 of them had a live-action appearance in the Book of Boba Fett finale, where they attacked Mos Espa and couldn't be taken down even with a Rancor smashing away at it. The HK series Assassin's droids were developed to hunt and kill high-value targets. The HKB-3 Hunter-Killer droid was an early model used primarily before the invasion of Naboo. These droids could still be seen guarding Separatist assets during the Clone Wars, although they were mostly just on backwater worlds. The HK-77 Assassin droid was an improved version and one of the most aggressive HK models. These droids saw action during the later stages of the Clone Wars, though they didn't become widespread until the Galactic Civil War, where they operated under HK-47's command. The A-Series Assassin droid was a highly advanced combat unit used sparingly during the Clone Wars. Unlike other droids that relied on strength, these droids specialized in overwhelming their targets with firepower and combat skill. Although they have only appeared briefly in canon, their lore suggests that they were deployed against elite Republic units, including Jedi. The Assassin Probe droid looked like large spiders with 8 spindly legs and multiple red photoreceptors around their head. They could also spawn dozens of small killer probe droids after being destroyed, which could wreak more havoc. Probe droids were used for reconnaissance mainly, gathering information on enemies' location and whereabouts. They were the predecessor of the Imperial probe droid seen in The Empire Strikes Back. Sabotage droids were repulsor lift droids equipped with electrical prods and bladed rotors. They were also equipped with stealth field generators. The Infiltration Demolition droid disguised itself as a harmless sweeper droid before transforming into a deadly assassin unit. These droids were designed to sneak into secure locations and plant themselves as bombs, taking out high-value civilian targets. They had an appearance on the Clone Wars TV series briefly, where they were waved through by the guards without questioning. The Colicoid Infiltrator series droid was an assassin model capable of drilling into ships and using disguise fields to sneak around undetected. These droids were programmed for silent, deadly assassinations aboard ships or space stations. Chameleon droids had holographic capabilities, allowing them to blend into their environment. These droids were often used for laying mines and setting traps. The Mega Droid, while never fully realized in canon, was developed as a superweapon. However, it was destroyed before it could be deployed on the battlefield. Looks very intimidating, though. The Morp Droid was a smaller, more mobile version of the Assassin Droid, designed to quickly electrocute organic targets. The Decimator Droid was even more terrifying, using energy tentacles to search for and destroy organic life forms, vaporizing anything it touched. The C-8 Saboteur droid specialized in strike and fade tactics, using stealth and sabotage protocols to disrupt enemy operations. The BL series Battle Legionnaire was produced in limited numbers for the Mandalorian Protectors. These droids were powerful in combat, used to bolster the Mandalorian ranks during intense battles. The CWW-8 battle droid was a modified load lifter droid repurposed for combat, equipped with blasters to assist Separatist forces. The Grenadier droid was armed with dual grenade launchers and was used in situations that required heavy bombardment. And that wraps up our comprehensive breakdown of every battle droid in Star Wars canon. From the B-1s to the terrifying Decimator droid, the Separatists deployed an incredibly diverse range of units during the Clone Wars, each designed to fill a specific role on the battlefield. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth Star Wars content. Let me know in the comments which battle droid is your favorite, and as always, may the Force be with you.